real from the bottom to the top. Stay tuned, make sure you stay locked. We go beyond the chat. We're not just talk. Beyond the chat. We're not just talk. Go. Woo! Woo!
What's up?
What's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? It is Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
It's 6 o'clock, and it's about to go down.
It's about to go down. A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's about to go down.
We got some stuff.
Woo, boy. We got some serious stuff that we about to jump into.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some serious stuff we about to jump into. And but for those that are just joining us for the first time, of course, we got to make it known. I know you may see it on your screen, but I'm your girl, your best friend, your next door neighbor, whatever you want to call me. I'm just cool like that. I'm Natasha Cash.
I'm T-Dub in the building.
Listen, we are super excited about our 30th. Can you believe it? Our 30th show. Today marks the 30th show of Beyond the Chat. If you've been with us from the beginning, we want to hear from you. Give us a shout out in the chat. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you're on Periscope, beyondthechat.com, wherever you are, we want to hear from you. We want to know your name, and what you like about the show, what you think about the show. We've been doing this for 30 weeks now.
Yeah, we've been hanging in there.
We
still at it.
We have been hanging in there. We are still at it. And we got a couple of amazing things getting ready to come up and happen in our lives. So I don't know if y'all paying attention, but I got a couple of stress bumps going on. So y'all gonna have to excuse me for my stress bumps. But it's all positive things. It's all great things. Listen, God is amazing. Jesus is real. If you have not tried him for yourself, let me be a witness to tell you that he is the man.
He is.
He is the man. So, we have been blessed. Even through this pandemic, God has continued to be amazing. Shout out to those who have endured, have been affected, have been infected by the coronavirus. We pray that, your loved ones have made it through. And for those that have lost a loved one during this pandemic, we send our heartfelt condolences to you and your family. We send love and good vibes your way, and we send blessings to you. We pray for your peace and your comfort. And, we just want you to know that we're thinking about you and we care.
We care immensely.
We care. So listen, we were watching some YouTube videos, and I know that church has been off and on this past 2020, and so a lot of people have not been able to go to church. They haven't participated in church because of the social distancing and all that good stuff. So I was looking on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, so I need some, I don't know, good music. I need something in my life that's gonna, make me feel good. I want to hear some church folks. I miss people clapping their hands together, and I miss the choir singing and the preacher preaching. I mean, I just miss all that. What about you?
I miss that too. It's been a long time since we've been in the house of God and listen and able to just listen to some praise and worship.
Now you talking about some praise and worship. That's one of my favorite reasons to go to church. Of course, I want to hear the word.
Right. But that sets it up. It sets it all up.
Listen, when you got a good praise team that can, like you said, that can set it up, I'm coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm coming back. That's all I'm saying. I'm coming back. I want to be there. I want to participate. I love to sing. And so when I hear good singing, some good singing, I'm coming back. And then to top it all off, if there is good singing on top of good preaching, on top of good church folk, on top of just all around good service,
make you want to join
the church. So to all the pastors out there, shout out to the pastors that's been holding it down for 2020 during this pandemic. We send love your way. We know that there's been a lot of churches have just not been functioning
Right,
for
right.
the last year. And it's, it's kind of hard. If you're a pastor and you're watching, you're listening, you're paying attention, tell us how the pandemic has affected your ministry, your church, how you've been handling service. Listen, I know a lot of pastors that's been going online, doing some YouTube, doing some lives.
Yep.
And I'm just saying, whatever works, to keep people uplifted and keep Christians. Because listen, during this pandemic, I know some folk probably done put Jesus on hold.
Blame Jesus.
Done blame Jesus. Done use Jesus' name in vain. Done denounce Jesus. I mean, I can imagine the stories that people can tell about not being able to go to church. Because I don't know about you, but on Sundays, church is like that. You go to the fueling station and you get filled up and you get, refueled for the week. Because let me tell you something, going out in the world, outside of your home, outside of your family, you don't know what you're about to get yourself into. You got to be prayed up. You got to be, to the point that you have your shield of faith up. You have your armor on. You have your guards up, because there's no telling. The devil is busy.
So you can be covered.
Exactly. And he is always on his job. So we as warriors for Christ, we got to be on our job.
Right. It is an ongoing battle between those two.
It is an ongoing.
But, hey, it's just like it's an ongoing battle between Christians, people that believe, and people that just really don't believe.
That's so true. But you know what? I love that God just covered everything in the Bible, because he said, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord. Now, for the people that don't believe, your day is coming. Okay, so I'm just saying your day is coming, and I just want you to know that one day you're gonna need to call on Jesus. So we have Reverend Watson in the chat tonight. Shout out to Reverend Watson L. Haynes II. I hope he doesn't kill me for saying his whole name, but he is the president of the Pinellas County Urban League. We are so proud of him. He's been a huge supporter of the Beyond the Chat podcast. We can always count on him to be here on time and giving us some feedback. He's chatting with us, and he's staying tech savvy because he's his son.
We have a few people that's here like faithfully.
That's true. That's very true. We do have faithful supporters, and we thank you so much. This has been something that has been talked about for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And we just started back in August of 2020. And like I said, this is our 30th week, and we are super excited about today's show. So Reverend Watson Haynes says, "Hi there, family. I can't preach good unless Natasha gives me my fuel." And so he's referencing the fact that whenever he preaches, I sing.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
That is pretty much how it goes. And so I absolutely enjoy it. He's a wonderful preacher. He always has a good word, and he always makes you laugh. Now, listen, I love a good preacher that can incorporate some funny stuff into the word of God, because it keeps you alert. It keeps you wanting more.
Because you're waiting for the next thing.
Exactly.
Like, okay, what is he about to say next?
What is he about to say now? And so Reverend Haynes, he's good for doing stuff like that. He's told some jokes. He's told some personal stories. I mean, he's shared so much. And so it's been a blessing to be a part of the services that he's been, that he's preached at. And so I'm grateful to have experienced that.
Indeed.
Yes. So Reverend Watson, we want to know how you have been affected by this COVID-19 in 2020, as far as, preaching or whatever services you offer and things that I know that you've been involved in. Can you share with us some things that you have had to, regroup about or change or whatever? We want to hear from you, and not just Reverend Haynes. We want to hear from anybody that's watching out there. We see Mr. Fred Noble is in the chat. So shout out to you. Fred? Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. We want to hear how people have been affected by the coronavirus. But in the meantime, while you're thinking about how you've been affected, we have a video we want to show you just to kind of lift your spirits. Every now and then you need your spirits lifted. And so we're gonna lift your spirits right now.
And please share your comments. And I'm sure for some of our veterans, people that have seen the show many times, they haven't been able to see the comments. Now you can see the comments. So we're going to see how this goes with you being able to see the comments. If you're going to communicate more, right? Because I think it's important for people to see what other people are saying instead of us just reading it. And then, we may miss some stuff, right? So now everyone can see what everyone's saying.
Everybody can see.
So make sure you chime in and it's about beyond the chat. It's beyond the chat.
Absolutely.
All
and we
right.
want to hear from you. So here we go. We get ready to watch a video.
See if we can get past this commercial. Okay, here we go. All right, folks, hold on. Here we go.
Here we go. We're getting ready to show you a video that that has like really changed our lives today. I mean, seriously changed our lives. So focus, pay attention, and we want to hear what you think.
Here we go. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Amazing. Oh, Lord have mercy. Wow, sweet. How sweet the sound that has saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm bound. Hallelujah. To us blind. But now I can see.
She's not done.
Us grace that has brought us safe thus far. And grace will lead us home. And I know that it won't be nothing. Jesus.
Is this still amazing?
It
I think so.
cannot be nothing
Remix.
but that same grace, that same old sweet grace. They call it God's amazing. Nana, don't you worry, because I know it's gonna be that same grace, that same old sweet grace. They call it God's amazing. That's gonna lead my dear friend Cynthia right on home.
All right.
Yeah. And there you have it, folks. and they go on and on and on. I'm just trying to understand who gave her the microphone.
Somebody gave it to her. Well, honestly, it sounded like it was a going home service. So the family must have requested that, or it's like one of those attorneys that they assign you when you don't have an attorney.
pro bono. I'm doing this pro bono.
Right,
You ain't gotta worry
you
about
know,
paying me. Just give me the microphone,
yeah,
and I'm gonna show you how I work.
Do this for free.
Oh my goodness! Listen, I'm sure the person that was blessed their soul and rest their heart and body and all that stuff, but I'm sure the person that was in the casket probably rolled over at least 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
That's why they didn't show it on camera.
Well, got up and walked out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's so silly.
I'm kidding. I'm just saying the pastor came there like, Jesus,
yes,
how
please.
How
am I gonna do this? Yes.
Some
people, I just don't understand people at funerals and weddings and events where you get the microphone. It's like, okay, why do we have to say every single time 2 minutes, please? Don't go beyond 2 minutes. And people be doing sermons.
Right. Like that's their calling or something. That's your calling. I'm
gonna need you to wait till Sunday service when it's your pulpit and you talk for 30 minutes. But anyway, so that was a little bit of fun for y'all tonight. We hope y'all enjoyed it because it was truly very interesting to us. So I wanted to shout out to read the comment that Reverend Watson Haynes. We asked him how he's been dealing with the pandemic this last year as far as church and stuff is concerned. And you want to read what he says? Talk about it.
It says, I let God be God and not lean on my own understanding. But God continued to bless me with a great supportive family in spite of what is going on.
How awesome is that?
Nothing like family.
Nothing like a supportive.
Right. Because you can have family.
Yes, buddy.
But it's nothing like having the support system behind you.
Absolutely.
And in front of you.
Absolutely. And knowing that, when you have something to do, when you've been invited somewhere, when there's an event or whatever, you don't have to worry about begging people, asking them 3 or 4 times, calling them and being sent to voicemail or them not responding to your text and all that stuff. Just to know that you have people in your corner that no matter what, they are going to be there. Right. That is a wonderful feeling.
Right. Unless they owe you money. But I'm just saying.
Then they hide.
And that's not a personal thing. That's right. We heard some on the radio earlier this week.
Yes.
About a family member borrowing money, and all of a sudden now you nowhere to be found.
It's so bad that he parks his car a whole street over. So when his family comes to see if he's home to knock on the door to try to ask for his money, he make it look like he's not there. He tell his son to take the trash out.
And that loan was $25,000.
$25,000. I'm just saying, you better hide you better move out the country. Because when I find you, I'm gonna have to hurt you.
Really? You change your height. Something.
Exactly. Your hair color, your mustache. Cut it
you wearing suits now?
Right, exactly. Listen. All right. So tonight we wanted to start off with something a little fun and talk about church and all that good stuff and how we miss it. But tonight's episode is extremely near and dear to my heart personally. And it's something that I've been an advocate for a very long time. And that is domestic violence. I am not a victim, nor have I been a victim of domestic violence, but I stand strongly with those who have been victims of domestic violence, and it goes both ways. I don't only stand for the women, I stand for the men as well, because believe it or not, men are also victims of domestic violence. So I've been reading some statistics, but I want to talk first because last Sunday we talked about a young Black man, 13 years old, who was invited to a sleepover with some school friends. And when he got there, or not, I'm not sure when he got there, but during the time he was there, they bullied him. They called him racial slurs. They shot him with BB guns and they forced him to drink urine. 13 years old.
No matter how old you are.
Exactly.
You're going to do that to another human being.
Exactly. And so this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, and you can agree to disagree, or you can have your own opinion. We want to hear from you. If you want to call, the numbers on the screen, 833-282-2428, or if you just want to chime into the chat on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're watching, Periscope, beyondthechat.com. If you want to chime in, we want to hear from you. But it's situations like these that as a parent, an apology for me or my child is just not good enough.
No.
An apology is not good enough. What I want to see is those young men that had the nerve and the gall to do such a thing, have it done to them.
Exactly.
You
So
want
they
a
know
bullet?
exactly what it feels like.
There's no guessing. There's no I can imagine how he felt, or maybe he thought this, or maybe he felt this way. No. I'm gonna help you understand
Mhm.
exactly how it has affected him. Because not only is he affected by being treated that way, he's gonna live with this
For the rest of his life.
for the rest of his life.
And you know what? And there should be an audience to witness it all too.
Exactly. Since they had an audience, they had their friends, in the mix when they were torturing and treating this young man inappropriately, then they should experience the same thing, so that their friends and their peers can see them being treated inappropriately. Because it's like, what other punishment is good enough?
Right.
I don't know any punishment that's good enough to say, oh, you forced someone to drink urine, so you're gonna have detention from school for 2 weeks. What are you gonna do? Sit at home while your mother and father are at work, and you can be playing video games, watching television,
Or
drinking
go to
Kool-Aid,
JVC for 6 months. So
and
you
hang
just
out with the
basically
rest of your
waiting to
friends.
come back into society and just be back to normal.
Right.
You need some stiffer penalty or something. Something needs to happen. And it's
totally
not
agree.
just being in timeout.
No, timeout ain't working. Time is gone. It's really sad that we live in a society that young people, because this is not something that you're born thinking or born knowing or born with it in your blood or in your heart. You are taught racism.
Yeah. Well, you've seen it. You've been brainwashed with it.
Yes.
And it becomes a part of you.
It becomes a part of you. And that is the issue, because it's like, as an adult, don't you want better for your children? Like, we always hear it. We even as adults say it, I want better for my children. And so don't you want that to be all around, their personality, their character, their integrity, being an upstanding citizen, treating other people kind, so that karma comes back to them in a good way. You want to teach them to book. And here's my question. If it was a sleepover, where were the parents of the young man whose home this young black kid was being bullied and treated bad in? Where were they?
These kids.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm sure they weren't quiet. So where were the parents?
But you know what? These days, parents leave their children home
That's true
by
too.
themselves
That's true.
at any age.
That's true too.
I mean, as young as 8 years old.
That is true too.
Whatever you do, don't answer the door.
Right. And only answer the phone if I call, my number, and stay in your room, or
or I call your cell phone.
Right.
Because we don't even have house phones anymore.
No.
So
No.
well, most people don't.
Most people don't. Well, my family.
So
my mama, my mom and all my aunts
most
have
of the
house
kids
phones.
now, they have cell phones.
Yes, they do.
So it's like, okay, you don't see my name pop up,
don't answer the phone.
it,
But I just I think it's just really heartbreaking, and not just that this is a young black kid and young white kids did it to him, even if it was vice versa, if it was a white kid and a bunch of black kids did it to him, I would still feel the same way. It's completely and absolutely disgusting.
It is. It's worse than hazing.
It is worse than hazing. And again, like I said, he will have to live with this for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And so now, is he going to hate white men? Is he going to try to find a way to retaliate? Is his life going to be ruined because now he's bitter and he's hurt and he's mad? And, right now there is no recourse for what they've done. It's just a conversation that's going on.
Right.
And so I think it's really sad that even in instances like this, it takes time for them they have to investigate, and they have to interview, and they have to collect the evidence. Man, please, let me tell you something.
Make him relive it 7, 8, 9 times.
Exactly. And figure out what we should be doing, or how can we make this different for the next person. Listen here, it's as a parent, you want to always protect your children, and I can imagine that mom is livid and outraged.
Yeah.
Because I would be livid and outraged.
Or hiring somebody.
Exactly, because you there's nothing that your sons can tell me as to why they thought it was funny, or thought it was a joke, or they were just playing, or we didn't mean no harm and all that stuff. I don't want to hear it.
It's no way to justify any act like that.
No way to justify it at all. So that leads us into our conversation for tonight. So I want to talk about domestic violence.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure. Well, I am sure why I'm so adamant about being an advocate for victims of domestic violence. Like I said earlier, I have not been a victim. I am not a victim of domestic violence. However, I have experienced domestic violence on multiple occasions. And as a Black woman, I think that it has helped me to realize my worth, and it has made me strong, because I will never ever allow myself to be put in a situation where someone tells me that they love me by putting their hands on me and causing me to be in pain or hurt or bruised or scarred or broken bones and limbs, and scared to go out of the house and afraid to answer the phone and all that stuff. You
Mhm.
get it.
Mm.
And so I did a little bit of research, and I wanted to make it clear for those that are watching to be an example of people that you can relate to, because a lot of times things happen and I forgot about that one, and
Mhm.
oh man, I remember that one too. And so I did a little bit of research, and talking about domestic violence, I literally had to stop at 20 because it just kept going on and on and on, and my heart became heavy. So I listed a few celebrities that have talked about domestic violence and been victims or are victims or have been victims of domestic violence. And it's not just women. The majority of the list is women. However, there are some men as well. So I know a lot of you remember the Rihanna and Chris Brown case.
Mhm.
That was a crazy incident. There's a movie about What's Love Got to Do with It with Ike and Tina Turner that clearly showed. And to this day, I can't stand Lawrence Fishburne. If I see him on the street, it's going down. Okay, he played that role way too good, and I can't stand him. And I don't watch anything. I haven't watched anything else that he's played in. That's I want to hurt him, and it's just sad because it's
on
not
purpose.
I want to hurt him on purpose. Yes, and it's not. It's because the movie is a true story.
Yeah.
It's because the movie is a true reenactment of Tina Turner's life, that she was a victim, a victim of domestic violence. And it was just not just once or twice. It was all the time.
Mhm. So it's not Ike.
Or it is Ike.
No, I'm saying it's Fishburne.
Yeah,
So
I can't stand him.
You shouldn't have took the role. You shouldn't have took the role.
Exactly. Now I hate him. I can't stand that man. When
Lawrence.
when I see him, listen, it doesn't even help that he was the father in what's the movie? The boy, oh Lord, Boys in the Hood. Thank you. He was the. It doesn't help that he was the father in Boys in the Hood, and he raised a good son and all this stuff. I don't even care. I was just mad. I'm mad that he played that role. But anyway, so Rihanna and Chris Brown, Ike and Tina Turner, Chad Johnson, the football player. He was only married to Evelyn Lozada for a couple of weeks before he bashed her,
right.
head-butted her.
Some of you guys know it's Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco split her head open by head-butting her. Holly Berry, 80%. She lost 80% of her hearing in her left ear as a result of domestic violence. Talking about crazy. Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, I know everybody know about that, but but Bobby Brown wasn't the only one that was fighting or beating up on Whitney. Whitney wasn't no joke. And I'm like, Whitney was getting some punches in there too, because there was a couple of times, I don't know, you saw Bobby, his lip was twisted. It wasn't because, he just liked to look like that. He done got his behind whooped by Whitney too. She was a little skinny little thing, but she wasn't no joke when it came to standing up for her own. So the two of them were going at it. But then you have a very sad story with O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown. She lost her life.
No one still knows the truth.
Well, we know the truth. I'm just saying. Y'all know the truth. Everybody in America know the truth. O.J. know the truth. And Nicole Brown knew the truth.
Yeah, she definitely knew the truth.
She knew the truth. This one is...
And not to forget Ron Goldman.
And Ron Goldman, yes. So yes, absolutely. This one right here really took me for a loop when I started reading about it. The singer Keke Wyatt, it says that she was married and her husband was domestically violent, and she stabbed him. I mean, multiple times, just stabbed. I mean, trying to go for the jugular, and they got they reconciled and had 2 kids. Now, is he crazy or is she crazy?
Was it not 2 more kids?
2 more kids. Yeah, because she got about 10. So is he crazy or is they both crazy? Because I got questions. And see, I want to interview Kiki Y. Kiki Y, if you out there, if you listening, I need you to reach out to Natasha Cash and TW at Beyond the Chat because we got questions. I'm trying to understand how you have 2 more babies with a man you almost tried to kill. Okay.
You got some explaining to do.
You got some explaining to do. Christina Aguilera has been a victim of domestic violence. Reese Witherspoon, Mariah Carey, Gwyneth Paltrow, Madonna, and Sean Penn. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And we know about Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. How she's so tiny. Could you imagine being hit by Mike Tyson on purpose? Like, not without boxing gloves, not in the ring. You know, I'm talking about being hit by him like he really trying to like hurt you with his bare hands. Could you imagine?
And he has to be angry at that point.
Exactly. So his fury is like on
11.
Yeah, I was gonna say 100, but 11 is good too.
I'm good with 11.
1, 2, or 3 with Mike Tyson is good. I don't care
anything.
Anything with Mike Tyson is too much. But what about Debbie Morgan? I was reading about Debbie Morgan. If you know who Debbie Morgan is, she was on what's the soap opera?
Oh. I didn't do any soaps.
I know. I can't remember which one she was on.
I heard them, but those things always make me get tired. And see, that's one of the only things that really make me like get tired and just drains me.
Want to fall asleep?
Hearing
soap
operas in the background.
I understand. But she was an actress on, I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, I'll find it. She was an actress on a soap opera, and she was married 3 times. She's the actress that was married to Rock. If y'all remember the TV show Rock, and he had a brother Joey, and he used to, always Joey lived with him and all that stuff. But anyway, she was married to 3 different men and experienced domestic violence. It's like, okay, is it just meant to be or what? Because how do you marry 3 different men and they all abuse you? Because I'm sorry, I don't care, what you've done, where you've been, who you've been with, or whatever it is, but nobody deserves to be in a relationship where they are abused by anybody. So this is sad to have read her story that she was in a relationship, in 3 different marriages and was abused by all of them. So that was crazy to me. Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Yep.
Lionel Richie was a victim of domestic violence. He was caught by his wife. He was caught cheating on his wife, and the wife came home, caught him cheating, and beat the crap out of him. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not good. So he, Debbie Morgan. Debbie Morgan is who we're looking for. Yes. So anyway, Lionel Richie. Now, I just learned this today, that Tyler Perry's real name is Emmett Perry. He was abused by his father. And as a result of experiencing abuse at the hands of his father, he changed his name to Tyler Perry so that he would not carry on the name Emmett Perry Jr. I thought that was extremely interesting. And I'm sure a lot of you out there probably did not even know that. So, yes, she was on All My Children. I knew it was something about children. So I just couldn't figure out which children it was. Married with Children, All My Children, the little children. I don't know.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. Exactly. So, yeah. So if you remember Debbie Morgan, the Black female actress from All My Children, she was married to Rock. And she was in 3 different domestic violence relationships. Okay, who else? Charlie Sheen was arrested for domestic violence. Nicolas Cage was arrested for domestic violence. Michael Lohan was arrested for domestic violence. And the list goes on and on. Yeah. And what is extremely sad is that these people have continued to live on the streets.
Profitable lives.
The rich and the famous. And it's extremely sad that women and men have both been affected by such terrible acts of violence, that I was reading some of the stories, and it got to the point that I just had to stop reading, because just hearing people's stories and just reading people's stories, you feel bad for them. You don't know, of course, we don't know every single thing that happened, but you really start to feel bad for the person that's doing the abuse, that's giving and abusing,
Mhm.
and the person that's being abused. Because when you get to the point that you have to try and take someone's life or hurt them to the point that you've their eyes are swollen, they can't see, or their leg is broken, or they're bent over and they're kicked and hurt and hit and abused, then there's something internally going on with you as well.
Yeah, and sometimes they're looking for someone to be a warrior, a soldier, a voice for them.
Absolutely.
So don't ignore the signs, because sometimes a person just simply just being in your presence is enough to see that there's something going on, and they're just waiting for you to recognize it without them saying something.
Absolutely.
Because no one, everyone's not going to say something. And the sad thing is, that the cases you hear is one thing. It's all the cases you don't hear about.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is that, to me, it seems like, I haven't experienced it, but to me, it seems like it's almost as if it's a planned out thing. You get to know somebody, you treat them nice, you get them to let their guards down, you start being sweet and kind, and then you go in for the kill. It's like, once you realize that they are in, that they have these feelings for you and they're emotionally attached to you,
and they're vulnerable.
and they're vulnerable, that's when they get to the point where, I love him, I love her, so I can't just up and leave. I want to give them another chance. And that is how the cycle continues. So I definitely want to make that clear that, we have to see signs, we have to pay attention, and not just in what's going on with us, but in our loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will change and you don't even realize that they're changing right before your eyes. And so it's important for us to pay attention and take note and make sure that we're in tune to what's going on around us, because sometimes people are screaming for help and we just don't even hear them.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to approach this person when they're by themselves, one-on-one, because not a lot of people are going to say anything if there's other people around. So you may notice something and you may say, hey, is everything all right? If other people are around, by default, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm good.
Right.
But, it may be to your advantage and to that person's advantage. Maybe give them a call after whatever's, maybe it's a family gathering or something like that, or you're out to dinner, a movie, whatever it may be. Maybe give that person a call later on and just check with them one-on-one. And hey, everything all right? Now, don't call them as soon as they break and they're man with them as soon as y'all, go different ways, because then they're in their car together. So maybe wait the next morning or something when they're maybe, I don't know, at work or something. Call them when you think they're alone. That way they can say something.
Exactly. Yeah. Swedish Anonymous, we see you in the chat saying he's a random fan from Sweden. So we got people from Sweden. So we appreciate you watching the show and chiming in. Thank you so much. We're here every Sunday at 6 p.m. And today we're talking about domestic violence. The domestic violence hotline number, for those that want to remain anonymous, you don't want to talk about it, but you feel like you need help, you need someone to talk to. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE. It's 1-800-799-7233. Authentic love does not devalue another human being. Authentic love does not silence or shame or abuse another human being. If you are in a relationship with someone who does not honor or respect you, I want you to know, we want you to know, that you are so worthy of love. And it's important to know your worth. I say that all of the time. When we have low self-esteem or we have insecurity, sometimes we don't realize that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we have so much to offer. They say one man's trash is another man's treasure.
And you know what? And some people think that domestic violence is a physical thing.
No.
It's way more than just physical.
Absolutely.
It's verbal, it's mental, there's so many facets to domestic violence. Don't think that you have to see someone with a black eye to tell they're being domestically abused.
Exactly. That's so true. Because a lot of people are smart. with their abuse, you know.
Mhm.
Like a lot of men know, okay, well, my woman, you know, works for the president or the owner of the company, so
Mhm.
you know she has to go to work, so I can't send her to work with a black eye,
Right.
because then I'm telling on myself, you know.
Right.
So like you said, domestic violence is not always physical. Domestic violence can be emotional. I don't want to really share her story without having her permission to share her story, but I have a girlfriend who for years and years and years I tried to help get out of her situation, and I tried to encourage her. I tried to, you know, take her out. We used to go skating and bowling and hanging out, and I don't know why, but she would not leave. And it got so bad that she had a stroke
Hmm.
and walking with a cane, and now he's deceased, and she's left all alone to take care of herself and take care of her children, and she's almost 50.
Which is part of your fight.
Exactly. And that's why I feel so strongly about women and men being in domestic violence situations, because like I said, indirectly I have experienced it, I have witnessed it, it has broken my heart. And I just try to find the words to help people, try to find the right tempo to you know, use when I'm expressing, because I know I can be extremely passionate, and I have a very authoritative voice when I get, you know, upset about stuff. And so I try to make sure that I am timely when I am talking to, you know, friends or people in general. But I'm very passionate about it because honestly, it doesn't take all that.
It doesn't take all that. And seriously, it will kill you.
It will kill you.
If you don't stop it right up front,
Yeah.
eventually to get out of hand, and eventually it can be you, it can be your family,
Right.
over you just letting it go on and on and on.
Exactly.
It can literally kill you.
It can literally kill you. Jan Brown, executive director and founder of the Domestic Abuse Helpline for Men and Women, said domestic violence is not about size, gender, or strength. It's about abuse, control, and power, and getting out of dangerous situations and getting help, whether you are a woman being abused or a man. There are more than 4,000 domestic violence programs in the U.S. But Jan Brown says very few actually offer the same services to men as they do to women. So where can a man turn for support when they are being abused? Because people don't really think that men can be abused. Let me tell you something. There are some crazy women out here. You're talking about, you know, we see the shows, you know, a woman shot and killed her husband. A woman ran her husband over with the car. A woman hit her husband with the bat and bust his head. And you know, he was in the hospital, and she went there while no one was rounding, and she snatched all the cords out, and he died on the. I mean, it's just we've seen it, and it is so true that women are violent as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry, I kind of feel some type of way, and people may not agree with me, but I feel like if you feel bad enough to put your hands on somebody, then you ought to be bad enough to take what you get. And that's just how I feel. Now, people out there listening and watching may feel a different way. They may have a different opinion. And that's what Beyond the Chat is here for. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you have to say. We want to hear your opinion, feedback. If you feel, you know, confident enough and you know, you want to say something,
just step on out there and say something.
Just say,
you know, there is a such thing as self-defense, and there also is a such thing as going too far.
Right.
So it's one thing to defend yourself and stop somebody. It's another thing to beat the crap out of a woman, men,
right,
that hit you one time.
Exactly. And that's abuse. I just feel like it's a matter of self-control, because everybody has their breaking point. And sometimes people try to push you to the point that they want to see how far you'll go.
Right. That is very true.
And they want to just keep pushing and poking the bear until the bear wakes up.
Until they find out I've gone too far, and then it's too late.
And it's too late to
and
apologize
on
and
the
say,
news.
Right, exactly. And so I think it's, you know, it's not even about what the person said or what the person did or how the person provoked you to do whatever. It's all about having self control.
Right. And having respect for the person that you're with, you know,
Exactly.
because it makes no sense for you to sit there and figure out how far you can push someone
Right.
before they break. Really, is
Exactly.
that love?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not love at all. So I want to read a on the real letter that we have received, and we want to hear what you have to say about it. So the story, the letter says, "I'm angry at my mother because she has allowed my father to treat her very badly since they were married. She was just 14 and didn't know anything. She never objected to my father. She agreed to whatever he did to her. There were 5 of us, and I'm the youngest. I have 4 older sisters, and ever since my childhood, I've seen my father abuse, beat, and fight with my mother. He used to beat her very badly. I've seen her bleed all night, and no one came to her rescue or to help, not even her in-laws. When my oldest sister tried to meddle in the fight, my father would beat her too. Now I'm in my 20s, and I tried to stop the fight, telling my father that he's wrong, and I get a beating too. I don't know whose fault it is. Is it my mother who's wrong because she allowed everything that her husband wanted to do? Was she just trying to be a good wife? It messed up all 6 of our lives, and sometimes I feel so angry, depressed, blue, seeing the blood on her face and hands, that I want to kill myself. The thoughts rushing through my mind, I just can't stop it. I can't stop my father from what he does with us because he's used to it. He's been doing it since they got married. I get mad at my mother and tell her that she's the reason we are all suffering. I feel bad later when it's over, but I just don't know what to do. My parents don't realize how they have affected the lives of all of their children."
And that goes back to what I said. If you let it go on and on and
Yes.
on, it will go on and on. If you stop it early, then there's a good chance it won't end up affecting your entire family.
Right. And that's so true. And you have to think about it. Like, if you are a victim of domestic violence and you allow your children to see, those episodes of domestic abuse and all that stuff, what are you putting in your daughter's head? What are you putting in your son's head? You're teaching your son that it's okay to hit a woman. You're teaching your daughter that it's okay to be hit by a man. And not only that, but then to stay in the relationship. Because when you stay in the relationship, you are saying, I forgive you.
Right.
It's okay what you've done.
And when you're raising your children and your children are going through the same thing, the first thing you're going to say, leave him. You don't need that.
Right.
But Mom, you went through it forever.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad my mother never had to deal with that kind of mess. It was too many of us for anybody to mess up. Oh, my mom.
Yeah. So
anyway,
my it's funny because my mother is a very strong person. But I know that, she's had some situations she's had to experience. And I think that seeing my mom experience some of the things she's experienced has created the person that I am. And I vow to never, ever allow myself to be in a relationship with someone that had to put their hands on me to show me or to tell me or make me think that they love me. Shout out to Vanita, my ex-coworker. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate the support. She said facts. Yes, it is facts. It's facts that, abuse is not okay.
It's not.
In
any kind of form. Even if it's an animal, abuse is not okay.
Abuse is not okay. It's like, I feel like walking away gives you more power. They say silence is golden. So walking away, remaining calm, and just giving yourself a chance to think through what is going on, what has happened, I think it gives you more power.
But you know what? You just said something. And I never thought about it this way, but you said silence is golden. Silence is golden for the abuser.
Right.
Not the abused.
That is very true. Absolutely.
And that's what makes the abuser continue.
Yes. That's very true. So being silent, like I said, like you're saying, being silent tells the abuser, oh, I could do this again. He ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah. I like this.
Right. That, yeah, I can take out my frustration. You know, I can have an excuse or a reason for why I blacked her eye or punched her in the stomach or kicked her or hit her or threw her against a wall or slammed her head on the table or whatever, you know, has happened. And not just physical abuse, but verbal. Oh my God, people, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not hear anything else we say on this show ever again, please understand that your words have power. Your words have power. And once you say it out of your mouth, I don't care how many times you apologize, has already been sent into the atmosphere, and you cannot snatch them back.
Right. And keep in mind that your words have great power, but your actions have even more power. You have to do something.
Yes.
In order to do something, you cannot sit still and wait on it to happen.
Right. Exactly.
It's not going to happen if you don't do anything.
That's very true. And just think about this. You're speaking up for all of the people that don't have the strength or the power or the voice to speak up. So the more that we talk, the more that we speak up, the more that we make it a thing, that it's not okay to be a thing, then the less people you'll see being arrested for domestic violence, the less people you'll see being involved in domestic situations.
It's kind of like the reason why we're able to vote these days. Because somebody did something.
Somebody
got tired of being mistreated.
Right.
And somebody started speaking out and start doing something.
Absolutely.
It has to be actionable.
It has to be actionable. Yes. And Vanita, you're right. There is power in the tongue. There is the Bible says that there is life and death in the power of the tongue. You can either speak life into your relationship, into your marriage, into your children, into your job, your coworkers, or you can speak death into them by being negative and hurtful and hateful and bringing them down. So you are absolutely right. There is power in the tongue. Listen, during the pandemic, many people have been in the company of their significant other, thrown together for hours at a time. Sometimes this close company has resulted in explosive comments, angry retorts, and violent outbreaks. If this has happened to you, no matter what the circumstances, you have a right to be safe. So make sure you ask for help. There are so many organizations out there that want to help you, that want to talk to you. If you need someone to talk to, the number is on the screen. And, you know, sometimes we feel or find ourselves between a rock and a hard place, especially when it's not us that's going through domestic violence, but we have a loved one that's going through it. So how do you deal with that? Do you call on their behalf anonymously?
Why not?
Because sometimes you feel like you betray them.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, if it's anonymous and you're just putting the bug out there, then you can at least create awareness, and you never know who's going to act on just that tip. You know,
right. But what if you're the only person that knows that what this person is going through, and then all of a sudden they get someone knocking at their door saying, "Can we talk to you about your situation?" And then they know that you are the one that told. So now they don't have any trust in you. You've ruined your relationship with them. So I'm just being devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have told me. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
My bad for caring.
Well, don't tell me nothing else. But no, seriously, you know, it's kind of hard to make that decision, make that call.
Yeah, and I think part of that person being open to you, you have to be open with them and let them know how passionate you are about them, their safety, their family's safety, and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I think out of respect, if you just let them know that, hey, this is what I want to do for you.
Right.
And I know you may not want this, but this is what I really want to do this for you, because you reached out to me for a reason.
Right.
You know, and if you felt like it was okay, you would have never said anything.
Exactly.
You know, so you reached out to me for a reason, and I have resources. Now, either I can give you these resources and you use the resources.
Right.
You can use them. You can come to my house and use the resources so that you're not seen or caught using the resources.
Right.
Or I can use the resources on your behalf. But one of these have to happen. You can pick one, A or B. And if you pick A and tell me that you're going to do it, you have to do it.
I feel like being an advocate comes with a lot of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
One, first of all, being the voice and being the face and being the strength and being the one that's not afraid to talk about it. You find yourself in a situation where you don't know who's hating you now. You know, when you start standing up for victims and you start standing up for people that don't have a voice. But it's important to me to let people know that there's a way.
There's a difference.
There's another option when it comes to feeling, because let me tell you something. We're gonna be all the way transparent. I found myself in a situation with a former manager that I've never had this feeling in my entire life before. But I literally had thoughts of hurting this woman. Like when I saw her, I saw nothing but red. And it was so bad that I prayed. I said, God, I'm not trying to put a limit on how you handle this, but if you don't get me out of this situation this week, I'm going to jail.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
It was just that bad that I felt so angry, because you know how you're a good person. You try every day to be great and helpful and present and aware and be service to everybody that you come into contact with and go above and beyond. And it's always that one person that always got something negative to say, always got to be nasty, always want to act like they don't like you, always got to be the one that want to change the atmosphere. When they come in the room, everything go down because they just their presence just is like, ugh. Why you here?
Yeah, it's sad that people have to be that way.
Exactly. So I thank God I have a great relationship with the man upstairs, because when I tell you that within a week, a matter of fact, I think it was like 2 or 3 days, I said, God, I'm telling you, you got to get me out of this. I'm gonna hurt this lady. I'm gonna just hurt her and just deal with the consequences. And God answered my prayers. And within 3 days, I was no longer in that situation. And things have been good. I haven't really had to, like, I don't know. That may have been one other time I might have seen red, but I listen, prayer works. Have conversations with Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, he is the greatest of all times. He's the GOAT. It's important. Domestic violence is a serious situation in our society. Many men, women, and children are being affected on an everyday basis. Every few seconds, someone is a victim of domestic violence. It says more than 830,000 men fall victim to domestic violence every year, which means every 37.8 seconds, somewhere in America, a man is battered, according to the National Violence Against Women Survey. While more than 1.5 million women are also victims, everyone, no matter their sex, deserves help.
Mm-hmm.
There are more than I read that. I wanted to say one other thing about abuse against men. This was really interesting. Domestic violence against men is very similar to domestic violence against women, obviously. It can come in the form of physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, or financial abuse. As with abuse against women, Dr. Brown explains that abuse against men can mean a partner or spouse will withhold approval or appreciation or affection as punishment. Mm-hmm. They will criticize, name call, shout, take away your car keys or your money, regularly threaten to leave or to make you leave, threaten to hurt you or a family member, punish or deprive your children when they're angry at you, threaten to kidnap your children if you leave them, abuse or hurt your pets, harass you about affairs. Can we stop at pets for a second? Do you remember the movie? What's the movie with where he put the rabbit, she put the little girl's rabbit in the pot? What's the movie? Oh my goodness. Because the husband, he was cheating on the wife, and she was like, he said, well, I'm gonna go back to my wife and we gonna work it out. And so the lady he was cheating, oh my God, y'all help me. What is the movie? Oh my goodness, with Glenn Close. Glenn Close was in it. Fatal Attraction. Come on, Vanita. Fatal Attraction. That is it. Remember Fatal Attraction, where the woman killed the little girl's rabbit, boiled the rabbit in the pot? I mean, that movie was crazy. I know that movie is so old, but it just clicked when it said abuse or hurt your pets, harass you about affairs your spouse imagines you are having, manipulate you with lies and contradictions, destroy your furniture, punch holes in the walls, break appliances, wield a gun or a knife in a threatening way, hit, kick, shove, punch, bite, spit, throw things when upset in one instance. I mean, the list goes on and on. She said I owe her $10. All right, I'll cash app you. Huh? Oh, Daddy Watson, Reverend Watson say I owe him $10 because he said Fatal Attraction. Okay, I'll stop by the house to bring you your $10. But so people like, sometimes they just go too far. Now, what in the world did the animal do to you for you to have to kill the animal? That's another thing. I've been reading like top stories. If you don't have Smart News, the Smart News app, oh my goodness. Well, how about don't download it, because then you'll be depressed because, oh my gosh.
It seems like news these days don't grab your attention unless it's something negative or bad.
Yeah.
Why it always have to lead off with something like that? Then it's like, okay, well, by the way, now that we've killed your spirit, here's something good. How about saving on insurance?
Right.
And then back to, the negative.
Right. That's so true. I think that's why Bay News 9 started doing Everyday Heroes. They have this segment called Everyday Heroes where they talk about positive news, because it's like people gravitate to negativity. People gravitate to bad news and, oh my God, did you hear? And girl, did you know? And it's just like, so if you don't want to be depressed, then don't download the Smart News
it's just
app.
like a fight in the stands. You're at a game, enjoying the game. Next thing there's a fight. Half of the people are going to be focused on the fight
instead of the game. They don't care who just made a touchdown or a 3-pointer or hole in one or whatever, any other game, soccer, they made it in the net. They don't care.
Now is half of the people going to be focused on the person that don't have a mask on.
Right. Exactly.
Including the security that doesn't have a mask on.
Can we talk about that for a second? just a side note. Trey Songz, singer, R&B performer extraordinaire, whatever you want to call him, was at a football game. Right? It was a football.
I think it was football. Yeah, because it was a stadium.
He was at a football game and he didn't have a mask on. Then the Joker was in row number 9,876.
Yeah, it's like a playoff game or something,
right?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's way up in the stands. And here comes the police to tell him that he has to leave because he doesn't have a mask on, and it's required, and blah blah blah. And they start getting into a scuffle and all this stuff. Well, help me understand why the police officer didn't have a mask on.
It went around his neck. It went around in his hand. Maybe it was in his pocket.
You see my eye?
But we didn't see it.
Y'all see my eye? Help me understand how you going to enforce the rules on something you ain't following.
Control.
Oh boy.
Control.
Yeah, exactly. There's that control. That's that. Anyway, so listen, we're at our hour. We hope that this has been informative, educational. We hope that if you are, in a situation where you have experienced domestic violence, or you're in a relationship with someone that is being domestically violent, the number is on the screen: 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. There is help out there. Talk to a family member you trust. Talk to a coworker you trust. Talk to a next door neighbor. Talk to God. Talk to the dog.
Somebody. Talk to somebody. And remember, keep this in mind. Most of the domestic violence organizations, they're not for profit.
Right.
So they are getting all kinds of grants to help you and look out for you. So take advantage of that.
Take advantage of it. And if not for yourself, educate yourself so that you can help someone else. And that is what I like to do when it comes to domestic violence. Vanita says, very informative and so blessed that you all share. Thank you so much. We love that you supported the show tonight. Make sure you come back next Sunday at 6 p.m. We're going to be giving away some money.
Baby.
I know y'all don't need none because y'all got y'all stimulus checks. We might borrow some from y'all.
But we're going to share. We're going to share. We're going to share a little bit.
So we can get some of that
a little bit with you.
keep it plain, keep it real. We really get down.
When y'all get y'all stimulus check, make sure y'all send some to
So
Miss
we can
in
give it back.
cash, so we can give it back
to you.
Come on.
Beyond the chat.
Come on.
Beyond the chat. We're not just talk, we go.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe so that you can know when the next show is coming up. Peace.